New track, validating petrophysics. So this is the short iteration loop between the petrophysical analysis and the rate transient analysis engineer. Back into Texas, Delaware Basin Wolfcamp study. This one we just did. It's a 5 plug-and-perf well study. When we started the study, this wasn't even one of the objectives. It's just something that popped out of the data. This isn't an uncommon story either, by the way. The operator assumed a very low initial water saturation. And so that means a very good gas or oil saturation. That's the corollary there. So RTA modeling demonstrated that this value is too low. So the water cut that we're seeing on these wells was 75% water cut with a 35% initial water saturation. There's a bit of a disconnect there. So what we tried to do is we modeled these things and we did ridiculous things to rel perm curves to make this work to start. And you'll see what we had to do. But using a reasonable set of rel perm curves, and we increased the SWI by 10%, everybody's happy, everything makes sense. The implications for this, though, are very significant, of course. If this is the case across the entire field, we're changing that pore and we're saying 10% of what you thought was oil is water. So that just doesn't change oil in place and reserves. Implications there. It also means that with more water, you've lowered your compressibility term because water is not as compressible as oil, and that's going to affect the drive mechanism to achieve a high recovery factor. So there's a double whammy in that. Here's the producing water cut for all wells, 75%. Validating the initial water saturation, well, like I said, we could match it, but assuming an irreducible water saturation of 0%. Does that make sense? Probably not. So we can get a history match, but is that reasonable? Yeah, I'd say no. But we definitely did do that. Then we did another way, and we said, okay, what about still a fairly conservative irreducible water saturation of 14%, still what most would consider low? Well, we need to increase initial water saturation to 45% to come up with the equivalent water match. And once again, we're not matching flush production water, because even if you do a flowback program, there's still some frac fluid recovery. We're not trying to history match the first month or two. But after a while, it's just a question of when we want to start matching the well performance, the water rate trend. So what we're saying here is if you're padding your numbers, we're going to find out, right? We're going to see that in our work.